Good morning, Facebook. How are you today? Have you got a lovely warm cup of coffee? It's a beautiful day. It's so sunny outside. I've almost forgotten it's winter. I've been preparing for the last 10 minutes by singing Nirvana songs, just in case there's a song called Nirvana out there. And I think that kind of ages me. So I'm really either really old, I'm really young and hip and trendy and like Nirvana. I'm not sure if you're young and hip and trendy anymore. It's a beautiful sunny day today. I've got lots of news for you. Hello, I can see some people have joined us. I am drinking coffee out of my very fancy Le Creuset mug. Hey Kate, good to see you. Let me know what you're drinking. What a lovely cup of coffee. Right, let's get my board. I am not impressed with my artwork yet again this week, and that's because a lot of the news is coming from two places. So I had to draw two logos a lot. And believe it or not, the more you draw a logo, the harder it gets. 1 second, I'll show you my beautiful work of art. Here it is. So as you can see, these square logos. You're drinking tea, Kate. Good, good. I probably shouldn't have had coffee so early. I'll be manic now. These three kind of squarey logos, they're Instagram, because as you know, if you watch this show a lot, I'm very bad at drawing the Instagram logo, and it's all sorts of colours. So usually it's a big kind of splodge of colour, but I had to draw it 3 times. So I just went for a plainer version. Pinterest makes an appearance for the first time in weeks. We've got lots of Twitter news. Twitter are getting their act together. This is so exciting. We've got some LinkedIn news. We've got a little bit of Facebook news. I've got a cool tool, and I've got my cup of coffee. So I'm wondering here where I should start. I know, I'll grab my notes. That'll tell me. Hello. Okay, I remember now, even though I've forgotten the password to my iPad, which is annoying. Because there was so much Instagram news, and I'm very Instagram focused at the moment because myself and Lorna Sixsmith are doing a presentation for Fulshire Island, which, for those of you outside Ireland, that's basically the Irish Tourist Board. Kind of the, yeah, just we'll take it as being the Irish Tourist Board. About Instagram. So my head has been in Instagram, and we actually spoke there about Instagram just over a year ago. When I started listing the things that have changed on Instagram in the last year, it was an incredible amount of stuff. Hello, I can see someone else has joined. Do let me know what you're drinking, tea, coffee, whiskey, whatever it happens to be. So here's just a few of the things that have changed on Instagram in the last 12 months. So it's a walk down memory lane. I need some music now. Do you remember when you could only have one Instagram account on your Instagram app on your phone? How silly was that? How annoying was that? We used to have to log in and log out of accounts if we want to post. Or like me, I'd have one account on my iPad and one on my phone. There were apps that let you have more than one, but you couldn't ever post from them. You just had to go back and forward between them. Do you remember that? I was delighted when they fixed that. I now have 3 Instagram accounts on my app on my phone, and I can't imagine how annoying it was when I wasn't able to do that. Number 2, the interface and the logo changed. Do you remember when that logo changed and everyone hated it? It was a real statement from Facebook. Here we are, something has changed on Instagram. And for me, that was kind of the point that Instagram really started introducing their way of doing things. The weird thing is, when I look back at the old interface, because I was finding screen grabs so I could compare them, it was really kind of old and out of date. So it's amazing how quickly we get used to use new stuff. I like the new interface. I like the cleanliness of it. It's good. Shorter captions. It used to be the case that there was one particular account I followed on Instagram. I kind of liked it, that they posted a whole blog post in their caption. But the problem was then, if I scrolled through and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled before I could see the next picture. Now you're limited to 3 lines of text unless you click into the picture itself, which means you have to make your selling point or your call to action or whatever it is that's important that you want to say within those first 3 lines. They introduced dong, 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 and we're going to give it a big thumbs down. Dong, 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 the algorithm. Yep. They started changing the way we see the feed. And for me, that was the biggest change for Instagram, because Instagram was Insta, in the moment. I am seeing what is happening right now, but no longer is that the case. Although they're not cropping any content out, they're not hiding anything from you, they've reordered the way you see it, which means that I could be seeing a post from 11 hours ago before I'm seeing a post from 3 minutes ago. So it's not really Instagram anymore. Not a big fan, but on the other hand, I do hardly notice it. Ads for everyone. Again, there was a time when ads on Instagram were only for big companies, and actually we never saw them here in Ireland. I remember in the US last year talking to my editor at Agora Pulse, and she showing me Instagram ads on her phone before we got them here on Ireland, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this will take off. And I think it's taken a while, but I think we're getting used to them. I think companies are creating better ads, so if we have to see them, at least we're getting better at them, right? Business profiles. Again, there were business profiles or business accounts, but you had to be a big corporation to get one. Not everyone could get one, and now we can. I don't know why I'm smiling. Because of course, with the advent of the business account and the algorithm, it means we're going to have to start paying for stuff. You learn to like the algorithm with Instagram. Definitely adds a user experience. Annoying for us marketers and bloggers. Yeah, I don't mind it so much, although I do miss the Insta moment of the algorithm that the algorithms got rid of. But hey, you know, things move on. I kind of miss a lot from the old school Instagram, but in reality that was never going to make any money, and that's kind of the sad thing. They have to survive. So business profiles, I'm giving those a thumbs up, because it is kind of cool to finally know how many people are seeing your Instagram posts, finally see that people are, finally see who is. So kind of liking that. If you haven't swapped yet, I'd recommend it. You'll find a video on my blog on how to do that. I just like doing that. Give us a thumbs up. Okay. Statistics I mentioned already. Now, brand new this week, shopping tags. I'm going to talk about those in a second. Then we've got Instagram stories, which they totally stole off Snapchat. And for a while, I didn't think I'd leave Snapchat. Then I just did accidentally, and I'm hardly using Instagram stories, but I've seen some really creative uses. Actually, there's anyone out there that has seen any business doing something mega creative, like really good with Instagram stories, let me know. Leave me a link, because I'm looking for examples. Specifically tourism, but I actually don't mind. If it's really creative, I'd love to see something amazing somebody is doing with Instagram stories, and not just that Warby Parker thing that everyone's talking about. Then they introduced Zoom, because you could never zoom in on a photo before, and now you can. Woo! It's kind of cool. I think it's going to be great for competitions. I can see lots of uses for it out there. It's kind of cool. I kind of like the way as well you can't hold leave it zoomed in. It flicks back out again. I like that. I think that's kind of user friendly. Yesterday, Karen from Kenmare Foodies. Hello, new people. Do let me know what you're drinking. Just a reminder, I've got coffee. Karen from Kenmare Foodies tweeted me because she'd noticed something new. And this is comment threading and comment liking. Again, I'll go into that in more detail in a moment. That's just scratching the surface. That was just the stuff I could think of off the top of my head. There has been so much that has changed. It's becoming more Facebooky. I really hope, there's two things I think are going on. One thing, I think Facebook are kind of using Instagram, chicory again, and a green smoothie. You're so good, Marion. You know, I try and drink those green smoothies sometimes, and I like my veg, but they just don't do it for me. I think I need to get off the sugar thing. So two things are going to happen. Number one, is it a testing ground for Facebook? Because they tried Instagram stories and now they're kind of rolling out a similar thing onto the main Facebook. And the second thing that could happen is they could just integrate it into the Facebook machine. And that would make me sad. Actually, one thing I didn't have on this list is that now if you've got a business account, you can actually comment and stuff from your business page. Apparently, they messaged me to tell me I could do that. So the future of Instagram, it's going to keep getting more Facebooky. They're going to keep introducing new business features. I think the general user doesn't really notice. So I don't think it's a big thing. My phone's ringing. We'll just ignore that. Just close the door. This always happens on Facebook Live. The postman will be here in a minute. Right, so moving on to the main topics for today then. Let's talk about Twitter first, because I've done a lot of talking about Instagram. The first Twitter story I have is that Twitter are really thinking smart. Really thinking smart. So they've introduced some new customer service tools. And this is smart because people use Twitter for customer service a lot. When they have an issue with a company, they tweet about it. They tweet at the company. In fact, this week I've been having issues with CoSchedule. They've just launched a new version of it and it's just not working for me. And it was the first place I could go because Marion was at a wine tasting last night, so you have to be good today. Well, I'm glad you made it this early in the morning. So this is kind of cool. So the things they've introduced is, number one, they have introduced a welcome message. So we've been able to use these on Facebook for a while, but if somebody tweets us in a direct message, we can have an autoresponder message that comes up. And maybe in that you could say, look, you know, takes us 10 minutes to respond, it takes us an hour to respond, or maybe say, you know, there's other things you can do. So you can say, are you having a specific issue? And underneath you've got kind of a list of the specific issues you might be having. You'd know what they are. You do that when you set it up. And they can click a button. They could say, I'm having problems, or I'm asking about delivery or something else, and they're able to start automating the responses. Now, the welcome message you should be able to do, you'd need to have it set up as a customer service account. So you'd need to go through a process, but once you've done that, you can do the welcome message. The second bit is called quick replies, and you will need software to help you with this. So I think it's going to be beyond most of our small businesses, but if we're communicating with businesses, I think it's good to know that they can do this. So it will be a bit like the chatbots that we've seen and talked about on Facebook. You will put in, I'm waiting for my delivery, where is it? And it will automate a process that will be able to tell you when your delivery is expected. And you'll also have the option to escalate that to a customer service person. I think this is cool. It's smart from Twitter. They've seen what they're good at and they're implementing it. On to Instagram shopping tags. Instagram shopping tags. Instagram have taken Snapchat and now they're working on Pinterest, because this new feature, which I don't have a screen grab to show you just yet, is for retailers. I'm going to give this a half and half, I think, because I think it's going to be good for businesses. There are some retailers that do really well on Instagram, and I think the ability to make it easier to shop from the Instagram feed will be great for those. I'm going to give it a bit of a downer because as we know, I don't want Facebook to eat the internet. So with the shopping tags are pretty much exactly the same as what you can currently do on Instagram. And it's kind of it's thinking about what users are already doing. So if you follow any fashion or style bloggers, you'll know that they tag their photos for, say, what they're wearing today. And you can click on those tags and it's like a Facebook tag. It will bring you through to the user that they have tagged. But this takes it one step forward. I imagine it's going to be a paid product. It's definitely going to be a paid product. But instead of them tagging the users, you can set up a photo that actually tags the individual products. And when you click the product, it will expand and it will tell you how much it costs. And then you can click it to buy and it will bring you through to the website where you can actually buy that product. So you'll be able to shop your Instagram feed. And for me, this is kind of exciting. As a non-Pinterest user, I still don't think, I'm not a fashion-y person, can you tell? But I still don't think I'll be shopping from the feed, but it kind of excites me that they're thinking of creative ways to shop directly from social networks rather than that kind of long-winded click here to buy. You know, they're thinking beyond that. So I think these could be huge. If I was Pinterest, I'd be super annoyed at the moment. However, Pinterest have their own audience and it's a grown-up audience. So I'm not sure it'll be quite as easy to take as Snapchat. Twitter and Apple Reader. We go on to another. This is the third logo I draw. It took me 5 goes to get it working. Now, Twitter and Apple Reader. So if you use Twitter on your phone, a lot of apps have this problem because sites are either slow to load on mobile or the interface that you're coming from is slow to load. So we know Facebook, if you click a link on Facebook, it will take forever to load. It's really annoying. People will go away, and they've introduced instant articles. Get rid of that. I'm just going to go neutral on this one. Twitter are doing something similar. So if you are viewing a link on Twitter, they are testing, instead of it opening in a browser or in a Twitter browser, it brings you into Apple Reader, which is kind of a stripped down version of the article. So you get to see it, but it will strip out the header with the navigation, it will strip out any ads, it'll strip out anything that will slow the site down. So it's basically text and images only. And this means the experience for the reader will be a lot better. I was worried about Google Analytics because I obsess about Google Analytics. I was worried that if people visited my site this way, I wouldn't see it. But no, apparently it still loads the entire page in the background. So you'll still get your Google Analytics hit. However, I must read what I was supposed to say about this. It's an ad blocker. It's going to strip out ads. And we know that this is huge for companies at the moment. It's huge for newspapers, for example, that need the ads to run their computers, to run their publications. So I'm not sure, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I'd love to hear what you think. Do you use an ad blocker? I always think it's kind of ironic when somebody who works in digital marketing runs an ad blocker, but I can see why you would. I'd love to hear. I always think it's surprising. I always get, my boyfriend runs an ad blocker and I'll say, did you get this Facebook ad all the time? And he'll go, no, I never see any ads. So it's really interesting. The other thing that's interesting is I know that Twitter have signed up to the AMP scheme, AMP, Assisted Mobile Pages, which are from Google. So could this be a precursor to them going full in on AMP? We'll have to see. Okay, I've got an exciting new Twitter feature. I've got an exciting new Instagram feature, depends how you think of it. And I've got something interesting that's happening on Facebook business pages. So give me an F, an I, or a T. F for Facebook, I for Instagram, T for Twitter. I'm just going to grab a sip of my coffee while you do that. So if you want the Facebook news, F, hint, hint. If you want the Twitter news, T, or just give me a thumbs up so I know you're there. My internet's very slow today. I've got one vote for Twitter, 1 vote for Instagram. Okay, we might need a tiebreaker here. 1 for Facebook. Okay, 2 for Facebook. Hi, Eleanor. Thanks for joining. Okay, 2 for Facebook, 3 for Facebook. Hi, Joanne. Okay, Facebook it is. Facebook it is. This one doesn't even have a link. This is something, and I'd be really interested to know, are you seeing this on your business pages as well? I just need to get the photo so I can show you. When I log into my Facebook business page, I see this at the top of the screen. I don't know how well you can see that, but basically it's suggesting posts to me. It's been there for a week. So you can't see it saying, introducing new post options to help you connect with your customers and get the results you want. And then it suggests I share a photo, I get sign-ups, I get phone calls, I get messages, I help people find my business, I create an event, or I create an offer. And when I click one of these, I think I click get sign up, it just takes me through the process of, it actually brings me to the sign up page on my website. It's already got that information on me. So yeah, it's interesting. What's really interesting is these are the sorts of posts that if I put it out on Facebook, it has said it won't show to people. It has said they want me to promote these types of posts. It has said I shouldn't sell through my newsfeed unless I'm willing to pay. So if I do set up that sign up one, which I'm not going to, maybe I will for an experiment. What's the next step? They're going to try and push me to advertise it. If you manage a whole lot of business pages, you've probably seen loads of Facebook pushing us to advertise more in your feed. Almost every time I log in, there's an example of an ad they could run, and I'm usually already running ads on that page. I may have even run an ad for that particular post, and it's pushing me to advertise. Has anyone else got this? Give me a thumbs up if you've got it, and a heart if you don't have it, and a laughy face if you don't know. Thumbs up if you have, heart if you don't, laughing face. Somebody has it. Who's that? Somebody has it. One person has it. Marion doesn't have it. That's a heart. Give me a laughing face if you don't know. I've had 2 hearts now. So lots of people don't have it. And you know, I kind of think it's a test because 3 hearts. So I think it's a test because otherwise Twitter would be full of people complaining about this, wouldn't they? Or saying it was good. Right. That's an interesting one. Right, so Twitter or Instagram yet? We had a 2-way split on Twitter and Instagram. I can't remember which one. I want to tell you about this Twitter one. This Twitter logo represents, you can see there's a little man next to it. I've got a laughing face. I'm wondering, is the laughing face for you don't know? Thanks for all the hearts, Kate. So this is Twitter, and that's trying to be me representing a mute. This is... I'm going to give this loads of thumbs ups. I'm going to give it a thumbs up, and I'm going to give it a heart. This is really good. It's another example of Twitter listening to what users want. How many times has there been a football match on? Okay, maybe you will watch football. I can't stand football. How often has there been a football match on and you've gone, God, my newsfeed is full of this football match. I may as well be off Twitter. And there's particular Twitter chats that get a little bit hectic and I can't see anything else on Twitter when they're happening. Or maybe there's a TV show, or maybe the Eurovision Song Contest, or maybe Donald Trump. And you think, I wish there was a mute button. There used to be a third-party tool that you could get which would mute a hashtag or mute something for a specific amount of time. But it looks like Twitter are actually going to introduce this themselves, a real mute. So when there's a football match on, I can just choose the teams, mute them from my feed, and that will clean it up so I don't have any of the junk coming in. Now, we've only seen that it was a tiny test that they did, so nobody's really got many screen grabs on this. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to mute temporarily, which is what I'd kind of want to do. So mute that hashtag for a day. Maybe you've just had too much US election at this stage, so you want to mute it for a day and tomorrow you want it to come back, or whether it's going to be full time. But I think this is a very, very positive thing. I love they've done this because users want it. They're actually thinking about their users. Well done, Twitter. Good news, huh? I've totally forgotten what I'm going to talk about next. I have to look at my notes. Muted words. Okay. LinkedIn. 3rd week in a row we've had some LinkedIn news, and this is an interesting one for anyone that's got a job. Who's got a job? Okay, we don't have jobs, but if you ever wanted to give up working for yourself and wanted to get a job, they've introduced this new thing called salary comparison tool. I'm going to leave a link underneath when we finish. And what it does is you click on this, you put in your job description and you put in your location, and it tells you roughly what the average salary for that job is. So you know that moment when you go into the job interview and they say, well, how much do you want to be earning for that job? I'm saying this like I have job interviews like that. I don't. And you kind of get stuck. Well, this is really going to help for that. It's also going to help to know, are you in a job that's paying well, that's paying really well? It also means that, yeah, well, that's the average. I benchmark myself above that, or that's the average, but I realize I'm new coming into this industry. I think this is a really interesting tool, but there's a downside. Your location can't be in Ireland. So pretty useless really for us, isn't it? You can say you're in London, but it's not really a fair comparison, particularly with all the weird politics that's going on over there at the moment. I'm imagining this is just because they don't have the data. They're not just excluding Ireland. They don't have the data of how much people are earning here yet. Hopefully we'll see it being rolled out there. But I really like this. I really like this idea. I think it's kind of cool, and I really like the way LinkedIn have started to innovate as well. And there's rumours that there's a new LinkedIn layout coming out soon. So I've been holding off on doing any screen grabs and videos on it recently because I know this new thing is coming up. Kind of exciting. Well done, Microsoft, on kind of being innovative with it. I almost forgot Pinterest. I'm trying to make sure I've done all my stories. Have I done all my Instagram stories? I've done all my Instagram stories. I've done all my Twitter stories. So I have two things left. Pinterest, yet again, have introduced new advertising options, new promoted pin options, and they are kind of cool. I'm going to read the last bit of news from it first because it's probably quite frustrating if you are a Pinterest user. If you like Pinterest, you hear about all these things. Advertising is not available in Ireland yet. I don't know. First LinkedIn, then Pinterest. What's the world coming to? But they're saying that it is currently available in the US and the UK, and I've heard Canada too. Available in even more parts of the world soon. So we should all have Pinterest advertising soon. Let's hope we have it in Ireland because there's some really nice options, particularly if you're in the retail sector. The new options for advertising are, I didn't finish my Instagram news, one tap pins, which means that instead of you having to double tap a pin to go to a website, on these promoted pins, you see a product you want, you click it, it'll bring you through to the sales page immediately. The second one is video pins that autoplay. Now, they've had something like this for a while, but they seem to have been rolling it out properly now. So basically, you'll scroll through your Pinterest feed, and there's a video auto-playing. And when you click on it, it will kind of expand and it will show you the things that are for sale in the video. What I don't like about this, but it makes sense for Pinterest, is their vertical videos. You know, I blame Snapchat for this. Which way round is your telly at home? Is it like this? Are you watching TV shows? When you go to the cinema, which way round is the screen? Is it like this? No, it's like this. Okay, end of rant. Not a mad fan on vertical video, but of course it does look much better on your phone. So that's the future. I'm an old fuddy-duddy. And the third one is that if you have an app, that you'll be able to advertise that. There's new options for that as well. So new stuff happening in Pinterest. It's all about the advertising there at the moment. I think ads could be really effective for tourism businesses and for retailers, even in Ireland. Okay, this one is from, thanks for Karen, I don't know if she's watching, but thanks to Karen from Kenmare Foodies, who I mentioned earlier, for pointing this out to me. And it took me a while to realise it was there. There's something happening with Instagram comments. When you go to Instagram, if you click into your photograph and if you click the comments button, you know, the little thing, and you see all the comments on one of your Instagram posts, do you notice anything odd going on here? Yes, see, there's two things. There's a heart and there's a reply button. Now, I had a long conversation on Twitter with Karen and GastroGaze last night about this. Karen's not a fan. GastroGaze were kind of half and half. I'm kind of like, I like this because I find it frustrating that on Instagram somebody will leave a comment and there is no reply you can give apart from yeah or a smiley face. clicking the like. I'd love to click the heart button on it, and now I can. And the other bit, it is kind of hard to reply directly to comments. You have to do this whole thing where you swipe and you click a button. So now I can just click the reply button and I can reply directly to the person who's left the comment, which is so much better. But of course, the downside comes back to something I mentioned earlier. I don't want it to be like Facebook. I want it to be different. By making it so similar to Facebook, it's kind of merging. It's becoming all of the one thing. And I don't like that. And I think that's what Karen didn't like as well after our discussion. What do you think? I'm going to give it a half thumbs up. Okay, you're liking it. Okay. Right. Okay then. Okay, finally then, just going to make sure I didn't miss any other important news. That's why I keep notes. You'd think that I'd look at them, wouldn't you? Facebook suggested posts. Right, okay. Right, so my final thing is my cool tool of the week. And this one is for, hey Laura. This one is for podcasters. So I'm not sure how many of you are podcasting out there, but there's a cool tool. And I have to think Kate is on the call there. I would like to thank Kate for alerting me to this one. It's called Tunes to Tube. So sometimes you might have some really good audio. How do you get it onto YouTube? Well, there's lots of complicated ways. You could do a slideshow presentation and all sorts of complicated things. Or you could use Tunes to Tube. You just upload your MP3, you upload a image, or it'll make one for you if you want to, and it sends a whole lot onto YouTube for you. I've started doing this with my podcasts 2 weeks ago, so there's 2 of those up on my YouTube channel now if you want to see how they work. And I think this is kind of cool. I'm not sure how many people listen to a podcast on iTunes, but the further I can get distribution for it, the better. So that's my cool tool for the week. Looking at the time, I'm 2 minutes over schedule, but thanks so much for joining. If you have enjoyed this, please click the share button and share it with anyone that you know that would like to watch it. So if you're in a group that you think would like to watch it, if your friends would like to watch it, please do click the share button. And thanks so much for joining. There's been loads of you this week, loads of conversation. Set it in. Oh, one thing I noticed, because I watched a Facebook Live, when this finishes, there's a subscribe to alerts from this feed or something. You can do that, or you can just make a note in your diary, put an alarm on your phone to join me next week at 9:30 a.m. See you then. Goodbye.